My name is Robert Warner, and I have the privilege of being the MLA for Medicine Hat. I'm particularly pleased to have today to introduce Premier Rachel Notley, and thank you for joining us in Medicine Hat. I can tell you that the Premier has been very supportive in encouraging her cabinet on an ongoing basis since beginning to reach out to this community, and thank you for that. It's been a busy 18 months for myself, and I think for all of our peers, including our peer that I see before me. Good morning. I don't think anyone could say that our Premier has been idle and that this province is seeing some positive results of some very hard and tough work the Premier has been endeavoring to undertake. Looking at the economic indicators across this province, I'm hopeful for the future of our province and particularly for our area as we emerge from an historic drop of oil prices that has left few untouched in one way or another. We are here today to hear about the future and the hope for our province and our community, and particularly southeastern Alberta. And one of the measures this administration will be taking to insulate this province from the economic roller coaster ride that has often been associated with resources-driven economies. These measures don't come overnight, but they do start in educational facilities, such as our own Medicine Hat College, where youth and all of us who are our future come to learn and develop a way forward for our province and for our region. I'd like to now introduce our Premier, who has been very responsible for the leadership around the positive future that we have together. And I'd particularly like to introduce you to to Treaty 7
Absolutely.
territory.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you very much for that introduction, Bob, and thank you to everyone who's joined us for this announcement on the traditional lands of Treaty 7. Before I start, allow me to express my thanks to the Medicine Hat College for being so helpful and accommodating and letting us host this announcement here on the campus. And thank you to President and CEO Dr. Denise Henning, Dr. Dennis Henning, and Board Chair Mr. Darren Hirsch, and Vice Chair Mr. Mohammed Idris. And a public thank you to your MLA and our Speaker of the House, Robert Warner, for his able representation of the people of this very vibrant community. Medicine Hat has a strong reputation for business that has been built over more than a century. As you used your natural gas and agricultural resources, the clay under our feet, and the sunshine that supports a vast greenhouse industry, and developed the services that people and industries rely on, and the technology and the innovation that is the leading edge of the future. And for more than 50 years, this college has helped to prepare the next generation to be business leaders and entrepreneurs, and they've also supported innovation. Now that all takes vision and partnership and commitment. These are the qualities that and the values that our government shares, and today we are here to build on those strengths. I'm very pleased, therefore, to announce that a new Alberta Entrepreneurship Incubator will be operating here at the Medicine Hat College and at the EntreCorp Community Futures downtown. Our government is investing more than $350,000 over 2 years into the new Apex Incubator that will tap into Medicine Hat's and southeastern Alberta's entrepreneurial capacity to foster new and early-stage innovative companies. The Apex Incubator will quickly assess new business ideas and bring those with potential into the development program. This will help good ideas get the backing needed to become good money-making business opportunities. This incubator is a partnership. It relies on the existing partnership between the college and EntreCorp Community Futures, and we're very pleased to be able to support their really excellent work. The incubator is also supported by Alberta Innovates and by the local entrepreneurship network of partners. The partners will start working on the initiative immediately and will be able to accept clients as soon as new personnel are in place, as early as 4 to 6 weeks from now. The Apex Incubator will work with entrepreneurs from all walks of life, specifically targeting professionals who became unemployed and recent graduates who cannot find jobs because of the economic downturn. And it will complement the Entrepreneur Center that is already here, cementing the college as the go-to place to develop innovative new business ideas that contribute to the growing diversity and dynamism of the economy. Our investment is being made under the Entrepreneurship Incubator program that is part of the Alberta Jobs Plan, a plan that we introduced a couple of years ago. Our Alberta Jobs Plan is one of the key ways we are working to create good jobs across this province. It creates tax credits other provinces have enjoyed for decades. It restores training programs for new entrepreneurs while adding an array of supports for established ones. It provides funding to companies that want access to new international markets. It cuts the small business tax by 1/3, and it increases capital access for business. It does all this while holding firm to the principle that it is the private sector and not government that is the job creator in our communities. Albertans have the ideas and the motivation that new businesses and jobs are made of. In fact, small business in Alberta creates more GDP per capita than small business anywhere else in the country. In 2015, small businesses' contributions were almost 1/3 of Alberta's GDP, with an economic footprint of $23,000 per Alberta citizen. Recognizing that impact, investing in supports for small business, especially the new small businesses, is a priority for our government. Under the Alberta Jobs Plan, our government is investing $10 million over 2 years to create entrepreneurship incubators in communities like Medicine Hat. And we plan to have several more incubators like this across Alberta in the near future. We will also put new programs in place to support the projects that entrepreneurs bring to these new incubators. There are few things more exciting than having that next great business idea. The incubator will help to turn that idea into reality. And we know that incubators work. For example, Edmonton's leading incubator, Tech Edmonton, reports that since 2011, small businesses receiving its support have raised $350 million in financing and funding, have invested $200 million in research and development, and have generated $680 million in revenue. Those companies also grew their revenue and employment by 25% per year, compared to less than 5% nationally, and created jobs for 2,400 people. With that kind of success in mind, we are investing in the Apex Incubator with the confidence that present and future entrepreneurs in this city and this area will build great companies and create great jobs. Friends, our government has made it a priority to make Alberta the best place in Canada to start a new business, to build on innovation, and to get a new idea off the ground. When you combine all the elements of our jobs plan with the fact that Alberta continues to be the lowest tax jurisdiction in the country by a mile, we continue to be a place for people to invest and to grow businesses. The Entrepreneurship Incubator program is one way that we are working to build on that. So watch for the Apex Incubator to open here in Medicine Hat. And if you have an innovative business idea, plan to make good use of this business development resource. And the college has programs and courses to help build your business, technical, and many, many other skills. It continues to be a center of this community in the way that it has been for many, many years. It will all be here in one place because the college, the business community, and our government are working together. That's exactly how it should be. Working together, we can help make life better for Alberta families, and that's exactly what we're here to do. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Premier Notley. If I might add a personal interjection, I know to speak to many of Medicine Hat. I've 4 daughters that have went through this institution, and I know my neighbors in this community that this has been a keystone foundation for our future and will continue to be. And with that note, I would welcome Dr. Denise Henning, President of the Medicine Hat College. Denise.
I think I better lift this up just a wee bit. Welcome, Premier Notley, and thank you, and welcome, Speaker Warner. I thank you for being here today. I'm honored to have you with us today, Premier Notley, and that you've personally took time out of your busy schedule to make this exciting announcement. And I also want to express gratitude on behalf of those involved in this important initiative. Support from our government is instrumental to this organization and many organizations like Medicine Hat College. But just as equally for our partners in this initiative, Alberta Innovates and Community Futures Entrecourt, to address the needs of this community through projects like these is absolutely spectacular. The Apex Incubator initiative is a great illustration of the power of partnerships, of different organizations working together to share ideas, pool resources, and accomplish many more things together that we cannot do alone. This project gives us the opportunity for us to collaborate with Alberta Innovates and Community Future Entrecourt in an effort to support innovation and entrepreneurship in our region. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you again to the Government of Alberta for supporting this effort. We look forward to starting this program and the progress and letting you know how we're doing. And thank you. And to inviting you to come back to our campus to share even more news on other exciting projects in the future. So thank you very much.
I would now invite Mr. Vlad Moravec, President and CEO of Atlantic Research Labs, Inc.
Hello, everyone. What an exciting day. Would like to take a minute, share a few words, and thank the Alberta government. Alberta innovation programs have played an integral role in the success of our company, Atlantis Research Labs. The mentorship and funding provided by Alberta Innovates and the local community has helped us launch PureJet, just over there, a new technology to help oil and gas companies reduce their methane emissions and other emissions. Through the support of the province of Alberta, the company has expanded significantly and is positioned for additional future growth domestically and internationally. Innovation is the key to Alberta's economic prosperity. Technology incubators such as Apex being launched today assist growing companies to develop and build new products and launch new businesses. Innovation is a direct path to a diversified economy. New technologies mean new opportunities. Innovation is the #1 source of new wealth creation, helping generate new job opportunities. Alberta has fostered innovative companies like Atlantis to help move the economy in a more diversified direction. Incubators provide a supportive environment where creative individuals can focus their energy to advance new ideas and help create new business. Incubators bridge the gap between good ideas and good business. Through continued investment in innovation, Alberta will maintain its position as a world-class technology leader and innovation hub. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. And just let me add that southeastern Alberta, and the Premier has heard me say this too many times, I'm sure, but sun, wind, people, knowledge, future of southeastern Alberta is really quite significant. We may have been the gas city, Madam Premier, but we are going to be energy central soon. I would now invite the Premier to take some questions and answers.
Thank you, MLA Warner. We have a floor mic in the middle of the cameras here for any of the reporters that are in attendance at Medicine Hat College. We also have a dial-in, and so any reporters that are on the line that wish to get in the queue, just follow the instructions that were sent out on the media notice yesterday. And so first we'll start from the floor. Ashley?
Awesome. Premier Notley, you were elected back in May of 2015, and this is the first time that you're visiting Medicine Hat. I think some residents are a little surprised that you haven't been here before. So what brings you now after 18 months in office?
Well, you know, as I'm sure you know, there's been a number of things that our government has been focused on. You know, we had been quite queued up to take a trip out here a little bit less than a year ago, last year, and then we had the events in Fort McMurray take over and completely blow up my schedule. But that's the way governing is. What I will say, though, is that I've always wanted to come out here, and I'm pleased to be here now because it's an opportunity to hear hear from the residents of Medicine Hat and to engage with them, and I certainly look forward to it more. And as I'm sure you know, as a result of the incredibly strong advocacy of your MLA, we've had a cabinet minister out here at the rate of slightly more than once a month since we've been elected, and our ministers have been working very hard. So I'm pleased that that is true.
A lot of topics that I think people wanted to discuss with you before they sort of became realities were the carbon tax and the minimum wage. And I think a lot of people are feeling now like those have come and gone. They've been decided upon, and they didn't really have a chance to talk to you and have their say.
Well, I would have to take issue with that. I think that we actually, even though I specifically was not leading the consultations on either of those matters, both the ministers did engage in very robust consultations on both of those matters. And indeed, there was a very, very thoughtful and well put together panel that looked at the issue of climate change and how best to deal with it in advance of it even coming to our government through the Leach panel. So in fact, I would suggest that we've actually engaged in broader consultations than many other governments have in the past. Not everyone's going to agree on it. Consultation doesn't necessarily mean an automatic veto. It means you're heard. And we certainly heard views from people across the province on both those issues, and ultimately concluded that the path that we've chosen is best for, creating jobs, supporting the diversification of our economy, something that's long overdue, positioning Alberta as an energy producing leader in many respects along the lines and the example that we see in Medicine Hat, where they've shown such tremendous leadership in terms of renewable energy long before the provincial government got on board with it, and certainly with the minimum wage in terms of helping to reduce the level of inequality in our society, because we know that that's fundamental to building healthy communities going forward.
Sure. Lastly, just talking about solar and energy projects, it seems like a lot of them seem to be developing around Edmonton and a lot of NDP-related areas. And we know that Medicine Hat is one of the sunniest cities in Canada. So we're just wondering when we can expect to see some of these projects coming here.
Yeah, no, I again would have to take issue with the basis of your question, because many of the projects haven't been announced. We're just in the process of engaging. Our government is fully aware of the leadership, in fact, that has been shown in Medicine Hat, and we're very aware of the capacity of this part of the province to engage in the renewable energy work that we want to do. In fact, we're just in the process of moving forward. In terms of the big piece, renewable energy pieces that would be coming onto the grid as part of our 2030 commitment, we're still looking at the structure on which or through which we would invite bids. So there's actually been no decisions made under that, because we have to make sure that we have a good structure for open and transparent bidding processes for renewable energy providers. And in terms of localized renewable energy opportunities, either community ones or residential ones, those will be rolling out in the next 4 to 6 months. And so we're looking forward to hearing from people in this part of the province who are interested in participating in it.
Thank you.
Next up.
Hello, I'm Tim Kalinowski with the Medicine Hat News. Premier, first of all, I want to follow up on a question about Medicine Hat, but we had an interfaith prayer service this morning for the victims of the mosque attack here at the college, and I know the local mosque is also holding a memorial sort of service this afternoon. Just speak to the province's sort of solidarity, I guess, with the community here.
Well, there's no question that we need to renew our efforts and recommit ourselves to living the values of respect, inclusion, and value of diversity in our day-to-day lives. And so, when you have the kind of tragedy and criminal display that we saw in Quebec on the weekend, it reminds us that every day is an opportunity for us to live these values and to do it in a way that strengthens our community, not divide it. So I was pleased to be able to visit the mosque on Monday and to participate in the vigil on Monday. And yesterday I had an opportunity to speak with the Premier of Quebec and to offer directly Alberta's personal condolences as a result of this tragedy. And Interestingly, last week, while our cabinet was on retreat, we had already begun discussions about efforts and initiatives that we could take to strengthen anti-racism efforts across the province. And so will our ministers, the two ministers that would be leading that, our Minister of Labour and our Minister of Multiculturalism, will have more to say in that in the weeks to months to come.
And now just on the entrepreneurial component here in Medicine Hat, why is Medicine Hat a good choice, in your opinion, to start an incubator like this? Rather small city, but I mean, I guess we've had an entrepreneurial spirit in the past too.
Well, I mean, you absolutely nailed it. I mean, Medicine Hat has a strong record of entrepreneurial spirit. We have the foundation and the supports that are built into the college here. A lot of the work had already started, and so we're able to sort of build on that. So they were farther along in some respects, and obviously Medicine Hat is a key center. It's a key population center in the province of Alberta. And as we work to build innovation opportunities, we want to make sure that they are shared throughout the province. And so we always would have done Medicine Hat, but we're pleased that it was able to take a leading role.
Thanks, Tim. I think we'll go to the phones now. Operator, please put through the first caller.
Thank you. The first call is from Catherine Bouchard of Radio Canada. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hi, I have a question for Premier Rachel Notley. It's about the Syrian refugees. You said this week that Alberta was hoping to welcome more refugees. And I was wondering if you have an idea of a number and why do you want to welcome more refugees?
Yeah. Well, I think it's first of all important to understand that at this point, it is a decision that's made primarily at the federal level. We know that the federal government has been asked to consider this issue, and as they do that, assuming that they do at least give it some consideration, we wanted to deliver the message that Alberta would be pleased to work with them to welcome more refugees if it was determined that that was necessary. And we did it along the same lines as you've heard from other leaders in Alberta, saying that we'd need the federal government to also commit the similar levels of support that they did when we brought in the Syrian refugees over a year ago. But we just know that at the end of the day, diversity grows and strengthens our communities. And so it's good for us that way, but it's also the right thing to do. We are not a little island that is not part of the rest of the world. We are part of the rest of the world. And so I think it's incumbent upon us, as much as we can, to live our values, the Canadian values, which I'm very proud of, as we look outward to the rest of the world. And so, and we've just heard from people in Edmonton, in Calgary, who've already engaged with respect to refugee settlement, that they believe that we're able to do more if we need to.
Mm-hmm. But do you have an idea of how many refugees at the same time we could host here in Alberta?
No, we haven't gotten that far down the road in the discussions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Operator, please put through the next caller.
Thank you. The next question is from James Wood of the Calgary Herald. Your line is open. Please go ahead.
Hi, Premier. You probably have seen in the last couple of days there's been a lot of talk about union contracts, public sector union contracts. You're having dozens come open this year. Is the government contemplating implementing a wage freeze, and can the government afford to build in raises in new contracts?
Well, I think the first thing to understand that the contract that kicked off the most recent round of discussion on this was one that was left over from previous rounds of bargaining that had been commenced by the previous government, and the positions taken by the previous government impacted the arbitration recommendations, and as a result, we were pretty much compelled to follow it. So as we move forward in the next round of bargaining, there's no question that our government will take a very prudent approach. But as I've said repeatedly when asked these questions, is that I'm not going to begin bargaining with with our employees through the media. We're going to respect the negotiating process, and certainly we are fully aware of our obligations to the people of Alberta to be careful with our money. As you know, a wage freeze and indeed a grid advancement freeze has been in place for non-contract employees now for almost 2 years, and so we're doing where we can, where it's appropriate. We are taking a very prudent approach to these matters.
Premier, if I could just ask you, I mean, this is going to be the first round of negotiations in a long time for Alberta where the possibility of strike action by a significant number of public employees is a possibility. Mm-hmm. How is that going to inform the government's negotiating position, and should Albertans be considered about or be concerned about the possibility of labor action this year?
Well, I think that, I mean, obviously it'll be the first time in over 40 years that that most public servants in Alberta have had the legal right to strike. And as you know, James, that's as a result of the Supreme Court of Canada determining that the situation that we had in Alberta was not in compliance with the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So you're right, it is a new world. That being said, we put in essential services levels. We're going to go through the process of negotiating essential services. So even if job action occurs, it would happen on the outskirts of what is deemed essential. So yeah, it'll be different. It might be some tough times. We'll see. But we're going to respect the bargaining process, and we're going to respect the rights of our employees through their unions to engage in bargaining, and we're going to bargain in good faith.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.